The Chandler High football team is looking open playoff worthy. 3 straight wins to start the season with back-to-back blowout victories. Tonight they stay on the road as they face the winless Aztecs of Corona del Sol. Good evening, everyone. So glad you can join us live on the Chandler High Sports Network. The atmosphere, Ray and Rural Road, the home of Corona del Sol. The Wolves coming off another super performance, handling Westwood 42-12. Senior tailback Tristan Halsana, spectacular. Rushing for $168 with 3 scores. Safety A.J. Roca was everywhere with a key fumble recovery, a pick 6, and 9 tackles. Tonight they turn their attention to the Aztecs led by head coach Jake Barrow. The squad is 0-3 coming off a 45-12 loss to Pinnacle. Squad led by sophomore quarterback Luke Farrell and dynamic senior wide receiver Dominic Ruiz. 4 games in, the Aztecs looking for that first victory, and so far they've given up 44 points a game. The Wolves salivating to face the Aztecs, putting up 44 points a game. Homecoming here on the campus of Corona del Sol, a very warm and lovely time. The young ladies picking out their homecoming dresses, the young men on campus looking to pick out their super Saturday night attire. And for the schedule makers, well, if they could do it all over again for Corona, they would not have Chandler High on the schedule. The Wolves, so impressive in last week's victory over Westwood. 28 first half points, rolling offensively and rolling defensively. You name it, they did it. Rock solid in all phases of the game. Rushing for 200 yards, throwing for over 130 yards, and the defense was lights out. And now they turn their attention to this Aztecs team that is desperate. Now tonight for Chandler, star middle linebacker Aiden Browder is out. He came up gimpy in the win over Corona del Sol, so he will not play tonight. So Yona Kupu, the star linebacker in his own rights, having a great season, will have to lead the charge, and Kupu has 19 tackles on the year. The sophomore also 1 interception. Had a pick in the opening win over the champions. Offensively for Chandler, quarterback Will Menzel. So good last week, getting a better grasp of the offense. 5 of 7 for 83 yards, a 19-yard touchdown to Carter Ochoa. Menzel also great on the ground, rushed for a touchdown, and just had a key play in that game last week where he avoided the rush, took off, gained 2 yards, fired a first down strike for 30, and then called his own number on the keeper for the touchdown. He was spectacular. The defense was great in their own right. They led an all-out assault on Westwood. The Warriors had an opening drive eating up over 8 minutes, and after that, Chandler put the clamps on. Roca was everywhere. Came up with a big key fumble recovery that led to a touchdown. He had a 34-yard pick 6. He was the defensive player of the game for the Wolves that night. On the offensive side, you love to see the big fellas getting their notoriety. And that big fella on the offensive line, Blake Spear, the right tackle, the junior, was the offensive player of the game. He led a unit that, as Coach Garrison told me last night, is turning into ballers. Flat out maulers on the line, and they are just beating up their competition. So Corona will receive. They are decked out in the black and the orange, and Chandler in the road white tops and blue helmets. Christian Aguilar will be doing the duties for Chandler. He's been spectacular, and back to receive for Corona is Dominic Ruiz, who's been spectacular. 13 receptions on the year, 236 yards, 2 touchdowns, 11 rushes for 36 yards and 3 touchdowns. Wolves special teams have been flat out dynamic. They've got speed, they've got agility, and they will light you up. And this one underway from Corona del Sol. Only 4.6 miles away from the campus of Chandler High. And that is a touchback, and Corona will start deep in their own territory. And the defense, as we mentioned, no Aiden Browder, came up gimpy in last week's victory over the Westwood Warriors. So now it's a defense that really has star power throughout. Yona Kupu, young linebacker, can really bring it. 19 tackles on the year, coming off a big 12 tackle performance in the win over Westwood. On the defensive line, you've got some bangers and senior Xavier Sr. and Jaime Kibris. They'll bring the lumber. And your corners, Scooby Bradley and Hamisi Juma, are flat-out stars. Handoff. Aztecs trying to bust it in the outside, and that's a very short pickup. Chandler is fast. They're only allowing 11 points a game. They were tested in that early season matchup by the champions. Cesar Chavez gave the Wolves a scare on opening night, and after that, Chandler defensively has taken it to a different level. They've got speed, maybe in some cases undersized, but they make up for it with quickness and agility. Brings up a 2nd and long. Farrell, good snap, inside handoff, and that is a good pickup on the play. Call it a pickup of 5. It's going to bring up a 3rd down for the Aztecs. And Ryan DeRocher, the defensive coordinator, making his substitutions. And Chandler will see if they can make a move on Luke Farrell, young man at quarterback, having a solid season. 33 of 62 for 538 yards, 4 touchdowns. He's in a shotgun, 1 back set, 2 wide receivers at the bottom of your screen. Farrell, good snap. They go back inside, and that is gobbled up by a Chandler defensive line that is bringing the lumber early. And just like that, Coach Garrettson, in our conversation last night, he told me what he was looking for early in this one is the team having its first 3-and-out defensively of the season. They didn't do it in the 1st, 2nd, or 3rd, and they get it done here. So now Chandler will have an opportunity, and Skylar Ormita is back to receive. Ormita will watch this one bounce, and it takes a Chandler bounce, and the Aztecs down it roughly at the 50-yard line. So great field position for the Wolves. And last week the Wolves were a machine. They played a Westwood defensive line ranked in the top 20 in the state, and they just owned them with great play calling, precision, skill, and will. At quarterback, Will Menzel, and in the backfield, Tristan Helsana. And Helsana, the numbers are scary good how good he's been early. 470 yards, 7 touchdowns, averaging 10 yards a carry. Menzel, shotgun. They go straight to Helsana. Helsana outside. Helsana busted around the corner, and that's a good quality pickup. Call it a gain of 6. Brings up a 2nd and 4. The receiving core lights out. Carter Ochoa. What a great year he's having. 13 receptions for 206 yards, 3 touchdowns. Last week against the Warriors, he was 4 for 39 with a score. Menzel, quick strike. They worked that right side. A good pitch and a good catch to Elias Gutierrez. And that's a good pickup for Chandler. And that leads to a 1st down. And I asked Coach Garrettson last night, does this team have the capabilities of going no huddle? And you're seeing it right now. Helsana, inside handoff. Helsana into the secondary, still on his feet, finally dragged down. That's going to be a pickup of 12 on the play and another 1st down for the Wolves. So this powerful offensive line going to work early, and it's a combination of Menzel, pinpoint passing, and Helsana in the backfield. 1st and 10 from the 26. Man in motion. Skylar Ormita around the corner. Ormita into the secondary. Ormita working his way, finally dragged down inside the 15, and the Wolves are howling early. marching down the field with ease. This offense putting up 44 points a game, so balanced, they can beat you on the ground, they can beat you through the air. 1st and 10 from the 14. Trips upstairs, one wide receiver down below. Menzel dropping back, time to throw, fires. He's got a receiver, and that's Ormita for the 14-yard touchdown, and the Wolves make it look easy, going 50 yards in a matter of seconds, and Chandler howling early off Ray in Royal Road. Just an impressive display by Chandler, marching downfield and making it look easy. And it's going to be Christian Aguilar in the extra point attempt. Aguilar, 18 of 19 in extra point attempts. This one is up, and this one is good. And just like that, Chandler gets the 3 and out. They go to work offensively, going 50 yards with ease, and it's Menzel on the 14-yard strike to Ormita. Keep it here, more to come. Chandler going back to work defensively as they've set the tone early in Aztecs country. And we welcome you back to Corona del Sol. The Wolves with that early 7-0 lead. Christian Aguilar going to work early. He's been busy. First the kickoff, the extra point he knocked through, and now his second kickoff attempt as Dominic Ruiz waits to receive. Aguilar boots this one, and that puts Ruiz into the end zone, and it's a touchback. And once again, Aztecs will go back to work deep in their own territory. Luke Farrell, the starting quarterback, the sophomore. He was 15 of 24 for $188 and 1 touchdown in the loss last week to Pinnacle. Tailback in the backfield is J.P. Shabley, 39 of for 216 yards and 1 touchdown. He's got 4 receptions for 58 yards. 2 wide receivers down below. Man in motion. Farrell rolling to his left. Avoids the rush. Trying to buy time. It throws it downfield, and that one almost picked off but ruled out of bounds. So kind of a scary start for Corona on that first play as Farrell was avoiding the rush, and there is a flag down on the play. Your referees tonight as they rule on this one. Your referee is Scott Hansen. Your umpire, Mike Bono. Head linesman, Dave Garcia. Line judge, Ron Solaris, and back judge is Vern Marshall.
Second down and 10 from the 20-yard line.
So it looks like they rule the penalty off. It brings up a 2nd and 10 from the 20. The big thing for Corona, can't stress enough. Utilize the clock, try to grind it down and keep Chandler off the field offensively. Farrell, Shabley inside, and he is gobbled up for a short gain on the play. He's going to bring up a 3rd and long. Short gain on the play. Xavier Sr., the big fella, in on the tackle. Xavier, the co-leader on the squad with 2 sacks, tied with Aiden Browder. Once again, Browder is not playing in this one. His status going forward is day-to-day. Brings up a 3rd and 7 from the 23. 2 wide receivers up top, 1 back in the backfield. Farrell, now the wide receiver, bottom of your screen, splits out wide. Farrell, avoid the rush, and that one is picked. And that one is coming back the other way. inside the 10, still on his feet, down to about the 5-yard line. And a great piece of work by Austin Reese. But there is a flag down on the field. And it's a personal foul against Chandler on roughing the passer. So that's going to rule that play out. So the Aztecs get another 4 downs to play with. So Austin Reese and that great pick wiped off the board. Last week, we saw Chandler take some big steps in limiting the penalties, and that's going to be one right there that's not going to make the coaching staff happy. Farrell under the big rush, takes the late hit, throws it up, picked off, but gets the flag in his favor. 1st and 10 from the 35.
1st and 10 from the 38-yard line.
Farrell working out of the shotgun exclusively. Tristan Ritchie in the backfield, and that play just explodes from the start. Goes nowhere. Brings up a 2nd and 10 from the 38-yard line. Closing in on 7 minutes left in this first frame. So far, senior receiver Dominic Ruiz. That's the player they need to get the ball in his hands to make things happen. Farrell, 2 wide receivers up top, 1 back set. Now Chandler shifting. Handoff inside, a good quality run, still on his feet. Working the legs and making some things happen for Corona del Sol. Good pickup on the play. It's going to bring up a 3rd and 3 from the 45-yard line. Aztecs trying to eat some clock up and get a 1st down. Trips at the bottom of their screen. 1 wide receiver up top, Farrell. Gets it out quickly. And the Aztecs will pick up the 1st down. And Dominic Ruiz, the young man with all kinds of skill and will, moves the chains, and over the loudspeakers you can hear the fan base and chanting 1st down for the Aztecs, a team desperately in need of a victory. Game time temperatures 91, cooling down here in the valley. Farrell operating exclusively out of the shotgun. Goes straight inside. A hard physical run by Tristan Ritchie. Call it a pickup of 5 on the play. Brings up a 2nd and 5. Corona trying to pound the ball on the interior of that Chandler defensive line. Jalen Robertson, Xavier Sr., Jaime Ruiz in that mix. Flipped out to the right side. And it's Ruiz again with a good pickup. Another 1st down. So the Aztecs have getting into a little bit of an offensive rhythm.
1st and 10 from the 38-yard line.
So a 1st and 10 from the 39. 3 wide receivers down below. Farrell looking comfortable. Ritchie inside. Ritchie works his way for about a gain of 3 on the play. And the Aztecs are getting the support from the fan base. Of course, it's homecoming on campus. That Chandler defensive line, talk about it. Jamie Keyreese, that is. Make that Jaime Keyreese. Number 90, your nose guard, Jude Jones. Defensive tackle, Xavier Sr. Number 44, Jalen Robertson. Big boys up front. And the secondary, Stout. 2nd and 7 from the 36. Ritchie working the right side again. Ritchie turning the corner. Ritchie gets hammered out of bounds, and there is not a late flag. And he is close to a first down, and it looks like he's going to be just short. It's going to bring up a 3rd and short for the Aztecs. And you got to figure for Corona, this is 2-down territory. In the backfield, J.P. Shabley. Quick flick out to Ruiz, and Ruiz. Chandler was trying to jump the play for a potential pick 6. And Ruiz gets the first down, and the drive continues for Corona. A first down at the 26-yard line. And this Corona offensive line really doing a nice job. Big boys up front, setting the tone physically, and you gotta have that, led by Matthias Harris, the junior offensive lineman. 6 feet, 270 pounds. Farrell dropping back, good pocket, lets it fly down the field. He's got a receiver, and that's an Aztecs touchdown. What a throw, great protection, and the touchdown over the middle. And Corona answers with an opportunity to tie this one. Farrell, the perfect strike down the field. Great pitch, great catch, and the Aztecs fans so ecstatic that their team is holding its own. Coming up big. And unfortunately, we don't have a name for that young man because it's not on any roster. So you got to play it with what it is. It's Farrell on the touchdown pass. Point after, no good. 7-6 ball game. So this has the same kind of feel as we saw at Westwood last week. Chandler scored first. Westwood had a methodical drive. Corona has done just the same right here. And then all of a sudden, Corona put the stranglehold on and roared to the 42-12 victory. Lifetime. Chandler is 13-10 against Corona. This series dates back to 1982. Chandler won the first 6 from 82 to 87. Then they lost 6 in a row from 88 to 93. They won 3 from 94 to 96. Lost 4 in a row from 97 to 2008. And have won the last 4, including last year's 42-0 victory. Ormita will receive inside the 5. Ormita out past the 20. Ormita splits and takes it out all the way out to the 34-yard line. Great field position, and we want to say hi to the Ormitas across the ocean in Hawaii. Ola out there to all the good people. Ohana to all the good people and all the Ormitas watching from across the way. And wherever you are across the nation, if you have blue in your heart and you root for Chandler, we wish you well on this Friday night. Menzel shotgun. They go back to the bell cow. Helsana out past the 40. Helsana into the secondary. Helsana, one person to beat, still on his feet. Helsana down the sidelines. Helsana all the way inside the 5. Helsana, what a run. Helsana A 62-yard run. And Helsana averaging a $156, already on his way to a 100-yard night. Just like that, that's how fast this Wolves team can move the ball down the field. Man in motion. And it's Ormita. Stopped just short of the goal line. It's going to bring up a 2nd and goal from the 1-yard line as we close into under 3 minutes left in this first quarter. So glad to have you with us on the Chandler High Sports Network. Paulo Hutchison live stream. Menzel. They go straight inside. Helsana makes it look easy. Glides his way in. And Helsana on the touchdown run. And Chandler goes on top 14-6. His 8th rushing touchdown of the year. Helsana could be on his way to being named the 6A Player of the Year. Simply dynamic. Aguilar in for the point after. Helsana, last year as a junior, Garrettson, the head coach, pulled him over, and that one splits the uprights. Now 14-6, and Coach Garrison said to Tristan, do you know how good you can be? And it was about building Tristan Helsana's confidence as a runner. And now as a senior, you name it. There's no run he can't do. You want to see him busted outside, he'll do it. Run between the tackles, cut on a dime, he is doing everything and then some. A 14-6 Chandler lead. After the amazing run by Helsana. Huge run down the field. 63-yard run, and then it's Helsana on the 1-yard touchdown. So now it's the Wolves going back to work on special teams. Christian Aguilar, so far, mission accomplished. Touchbacks on every kick. Aguilar trying to avoid the speedy Dominic Ruiz, and Ruiz is going to have an opportunity here. Out past the 10, Ruiz working outside. Ruiz trying to turn the corner, runs into a sea of white and blue. In on the tackle, number 10, Yona Kupu. Yona, young man who had a standout game last week, 12 tackles against Westwood. Now is being asked to step up with the loss of Aiden Browder. Browder could be out for multiple games. We just don't know. This Chandler defense, stout, allowing only 11 points a game. But that last drive by Corona, something special. Pass protection was great, and Farrell looked great in the pocket. 2 wide receivers up top, 1 back set. Farrell rolling to his left. Farrell will take off, and we'll get a short gain on the play. Tracked down by Kupu. But still, for Corona del Sol, opportunity to control the clock, and Farrell showing the poise, not throwing the ball wildly down the field. A pickup of 3 goes to 2nd and 7 from the 28. Farrell getting the play call from Coach Barrow on the sidelines. Ruiz leading that receiving core, as well as junior Jude Stevens, number 2. 2 wide receivers up top. Stevens in a slot. Ruiz outside. Stevens. And they run straight up the gut into that Chandler interior of the defensive line. And that picks up a Aztecs first down. So now it's a 1st and 10 from the 35-yard line. Corona del Sol coming off a 45-12 victory, or I should say loss, against Pinnacle. 0-3 on the year, looking for a win. Another handoff inside, and that time it's gobbled up by the interior of that Chandler line. In on the tackle, linebacker Owen Thies. Make that Craig Noble, number 40 for Chandler High. Second and 7 from the 38. Time winding down in the first quarter. Noble, young man, had a great game last week against Westwood. Farrell, shotgun. Little reverse by the Aztecs, and a good open field tackle on Shabley by the Wolves. Up and under. Coming with authority, Malik Johnson. But another first down for the Aztecs. Time winding down in this first quarter. A 14-6 Chandler High lead. Ball at the 45-yard line. Farrell and the Aztecs offense doing some nice things on these last two possessions. And there's a timeout on the field, and we'll take a short timeout. You're watching the Wolves and Aztecs right here from Corona del Sol off Ray and Rural Road. Quick timeout, 33 seconds and counting. 1st and 10 from the 45. They go back inside. Try to attack that Chandler defensive line. Yona Kupo in on the tackle. Wolves getting tested early and often. Also in Xavier Sr., the senior. And that's going to wind down the first quarter. After one, Chandler leading 14-6 with the Aztecs on the move. Keep it locked, keep it loaded right here on the Chandler High Sports Network. And we are seconds away from starting this second quarter. Some family lineage right here for Corona del Sol. Tristan Ritchie. His dad was a kicker at Corona and then kicked at ASU. He played for Coach Marmee and Coach Snyder. Interesting factoids brought on by the Corona fan base. Brings up a 2nd and 8 from the 47. Aztecs trying to answer Chandler's drive. Farrell has got time, backside pressure, and the ball is loose on the turf, scooped up, and Chandler will recover. Big time hit, and Sean Perez on the fumble recovery, and the Wolves are knocking on the door yet again. Farrell rolling to his left, did not feel the backside pressure. Got knocked from behind, and Sean Perez scoops it up. And the Wolves excellent field position at the Aztecs 20-yard line. Now in at quarterback is junior Dominic Carmigiano. Helsana in the backfield. Ormita in motion. They go back to the bell cow. Helsana inside the 15 to the 10, the 5. Helsana dives and he is in, but there is a flag on the field. And it looks like that might go against the Wolves, a holding call. But once again, you can see just how dynamic Tristan Helsana is. So that's going to push the Wolves back and give the Wolves some more real estate to work with. Stepping in, Anthony Lejander, the change of pace back, and Anthony can do it all. Young man, great hands out of the backfield. He's rushed 20 times for 71 yards and a touchdown. Also 6 receptions for 25 yards. Lejander, 2 wide receivers, and now it's going to be, looks like a delay of game. And that's the call against the Wolves. And anytime you're rotating a pair of quarterbacks, you're living dangerously. And Carmigiano coming in after Menzel ran the offense perfectly. And so that's going to push the Chandler offense back to the 25. 1st and 15 from the 25. Bottom of your screen is Jaden Spann. Ochoa in motion. Lejander, the handoff, turns the corner. Lejander, and he gets wrestled down by an aggressive Aztecs defense. Call it a pickup of 3 on the play. Carmigiano getting the call from offensive coordinator Chad Carpenter. Brings up a 2nd and 12 from the 22. Good snap. Carmigiano lets it fly. Hits Ochoa. Cuts it back inside. Ochoa, middle of the field. Still on his feet. Inside the 20, down to about the 17-yard line. Carter Ochoa. Last week caught a touchdown in the win over the Warriors, the leading receiver on the team. Such soft hands. Coach Gerritsen and offensive coordinator Chad Carpenter are just so impressed by this young man. He says he runs fantastic routes, runs routes like a pro, and Carpenter knows he played in the NFL. 3rd and 8 from the 18. Carmigiano rolling to his right, fires downfield, and that's going to be incomplete. Looking for Skylar Ormita. It's going to bring him a 4th and 8 from the 18. And Christian Aguilar will have the opportunity for his first field goal attempt of the year. He's been special on point afters, and now this one from 35 yards out. Aguilar dialed in. And another flag is down. And that's going to be, looks like, offsides against Corona. And now it makes it a little easier. And that is the call. So Corona had Aguilar pinned a little deeper. They'll give him a little bit more real estate to operate with, and it'll be a more easy kick for Aguilar, who has been a standout. So now it's Chandler. Now they're going for it. 4th and 3 from the 13. They go to Helsana. Helsana up the middle. Helsana dances his way in. Another touchdown. And Chandler on 4th and 3 answers the bell. They lead 20-6. Hell Sana, the bell cow, just ringing it and lighting up Ray and Rule Road. You name it, wherever he goes, he just gets it done in a big way. 13-yard touchdown, Garrettson and Chad Carpenter roll the dice and it pays off. Aguilar now will do his point after duties, and this one up and good. 21-6 with 10:22 left. A short timeout. Wolves howling in Aztecs country. So the Wolves get the great defensive play, sacking Farrell, stripped, loose ball. Sean Perez recovers. It leads to a Helsana 13-yard touchdown run. And now the Aztecs starting to feel the wrath of this Chandler team. Just how good they are. They bring pressure on so many different angles and ways. Aguilar boots this one down. Ruiz will have an opportunity inside the 10. Out to the 20. Ruiz trying to get to the outside and finally pushed out of bounds. Great special teams coverage by Jeremiah Flunder. The senior making his impact on special teams, led by their special teams coach, Colin Bottrell. And the Wolves take this area of the game so personally and dedicate so much time and effort to be flawless in that aspect of the game. So Luke Farrell last time out, fumbled a football, and Chandler capitalized. 21-6, Aztecs trying to rise to the occasion. Homecoming on the campus of Corona del Sol. Farrell, one back set, dropping back. Tries to avoid a big-time rush, and eventually he gets taken down. And another fumble, and the Aztecs recover. In on the tackle, a couple big bodies. Sean Perez, as well as Sincere Preston, the big defensive lineman. Preston, the junior, defensive tackle, 6'1", 295. Sincere Preston bringing the lumber. It brings up a 2nd and 10 from the 24, and Farrell and the Aztecs are lucky that they came up with a fumble recovery. Under 10 minutes left in this second quarter. Corona starting to pin their ears back and go after this sophomore quarterback. And the Wolves will take a timeout, and we'll take a timeout. Homecoming from Corona del Sol. And we welcome you back to Corona del Sol. Wolves with a 21-6 lead. Aztecs with a 2nd and 20 from the 24-yard line. Coach Barrow and the Aztecs looking to sustain a long drive and keep that explosive Wolves offense off the field. Farrell, good snap, big rush, chucks it over the middle, and a big-time hit. My goodness, Yona Kupu bringing the lumber and then some. Kupu let up and just lit up on the Aztecs receiver. That brings up a 3rd and forever from the 24, and you got to figure for the Aztecs, you want something quick and simple, maybe a screen pass, and maybe you catch Chandler coming on a blitz and take advantage. Farrell looking at the sidelines, trying to get the play from the sidelines. 13 seconds left on the play clock. Farrell, 3 wide receivers, 1 back set. Farrell, play clock down to 1, just gets it off. Dropping back, Farrell fires down the field. He's got a receiver, and just off the hands. Just off the hands of number 5. A good throw by Farrell, but the Aztecs could not capitalize as the receiver got a hand on it but could not bring it in. So it brings up a 4th and 20 from the 24. Ormita back to receive. Bad snap. They just get it off, and it takes an Aztecs bounce, and this one will roll inside the 40 and finally down at about the 36-yard line. Corona will take over. They've scored on all 3 possessions. And right now, they're a shark in the water, smelling blood, looking to put this one away early. This rivalry dates back to 1982. Top 10 songs of the times. Chicago, Hard to Say I'm Sorry. Steve Miller Band, Abracadabra. At number 8, Hurt So Good by John Cougar. Number 7, Jack and Diane, John Cougar. Menzel, quick pass in a flat. Ormita picking his way, dancing, and finally dragged down at the 41-yard line. At number 6 on the top 10 songs in 1982, The Human League, Don't You Want Me. Number 5, the Jay Giles Band, Centerfold. Oh, that's a classic. 2nd and 4 from the 42. Wolves, 5 wide receiver set with Menzel in the shotgun, trying to draw the Aztecs off. Now he's looking at Chad Carpenter on the sidelines, changing the play. Menzel, plenty of time in the play clock. Good snap. Hand off to Ormita. Ormita out past the 50, finally taken down to the 47-yard line. Give Ormita a reception on the play. And that's going to move the sticks. At number 4 on the top 10 songs of 1982, Ebony and Ivory, Paul McCartney and Stevie Wonder. 1st and 10 from the 47. Menzel, 4 wide receivers up top, 1 down below. Good snap, good pocket. Menzel fires down the field. That's going to be behind his intended receiver, Carter Ochoa. At number 3, top 10 hits of 1982, I Love Rock and Roll, Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. Number 2, Eye of the Tiger, Survivor. Remember Rocky 3? There is no tomorrow. At number 1, You Loved Her in Grease, Sandy. Number 1, Physical by Olivia Newton-John. Menzel, across the middle, goes right back to his favorite receiver. Ochoa breaks the tackle, still on his feet. Ochoa inside the 10, fumbles, and that is going to go out at about the 1-yard line. Ochoa, big pickup. A gain of 46 on the play. And Carter Ochoa is a dynamic receiver. He can run every route and has the softest hands and makes it look easy. And now Tristan the Titan in the backfield. And when T is in the backfield, it means one thing. He's about to blow steam. 1st and goal from the 1. Helsana Cuts his way and works his way, and he's going to be stopped by a determined Aztecs defensive front. It's going to bring up a 2nd and goal as we wind down to 7 minutes in this first half. Wolves with a 21-6 lead. Elsana, man in motion, switching on the offensive line. Menzel goes right back to the workhorse, and Elsana walks in, 1-yard touchdown. And it's now 27-6, Chandler High. Menzel to Ochoa on the big pass play. A gain of 46, and now Elsana does the rest. His 3rd touchdown of the night. He's over 100 yards. Aguilar in for the point after. Up and good. And the route is on from Corona del Sol. The Wolves, 4 possessions, 4 offensive touchdowns. A short timeout. Wolves rolling in Aztecs country. So we welcome you back to Corona del Sol, homecoming on the campus of the Aztecs. Schedule makers did not realize scheduling Chandler High on homecoming, never a good thing. Aguilar will lead his special teams unit. Ruiz back to receive. Aguilar right into the wind. Ruiz inside his 5, out to the 10, trying to turn the corner. He gets the corner and runs and finally stopped inside the 30. In on the tackle, outside linebacker Jordan Taylor. So outside the top 10 songs in 1982 that are special, how about I Can't Go For That? No Can Do. Hall & Oates. And this is a college classic. Anytime you went into a college bar anywhere, Tainted Love, Soft Cell. Oh, Tainted Love. 1st and 10 from the 28. Farrell. Running a little shiftiness, and that is eaten up. Didn't fool anyone on that Chandler sideline. Scooby Bradley. Real name is Austin. They call him Scooby because, why? He loves Scooby-Doo. And he does a good impression of Scooby-Doo, by the way, too. 2nd and 9 from the 29, and this is kind of a turning point in this one. Aztecs have got to be able to move the ball down the field, or this one can turn really ugly. As we wind down to 6 minutes left in this first half. 28-6 Chandler. They've scored on all 4 possessions. Halsana over 100 yards already. Ruiz in motion. Ruiz outside. Ruiz, he'll have a 1st down outside the 40-yard line. A good pickup on the play. And a positive result for the Aztecs. And they needed that one in a big way. A gain of 14 as the sticks are moved. And the Aztecs fan base loving to hear the announcers saying 1st down Aztecs. 1st and 10 from the 42. And for Coach Garrettson and defensive coordinator Ryan DeRocher, they want to see Corona come up with another stop. Or I should say the Wolves coming up with another stop. And that's going to be a flag down on the field. And that's going to be a false start. So Corona with the good positive play, and then they get a false start, and that's crippling to the soul. You're already seeing a team that many feel, when it's all said and done, has the potential to win the Open title, and you're giving them more opportunities to pin their ears back and come after you. First and 15 from the 37. Farrell, 3 wide receivers down below. Handoff inside. And that's going to be a good gain up the field. Tristan Ritchie picks up about 3 on the play. It's going to bring up a 2nd and 11.
Stop by number 9. Jaime Q. He's going to bring up a 2nd down.
Jaime Keyreese in on the tackle. And Jaime just part of this fantastic defensive line. Keyreese, 16 tackles on the year, 1.5 sacks. Having a big year, the junior, a force on that D-line. Farrell go right back inside to Ritchie, and Ritchie's gobbled up by a slew of white jerseys. Bringing the lumber early and often. Jaime Keyreese, just talked about him. Got the call from the press box and said, I've got this. Brings up a 3rd and 11 from the 41. And right now, the Chandler D-line and linebacking core. Got to wonder if they're going to play it safe or come after them. 3 across the line. They blitz from the outside. Farrell got time, dumps it off. And the receiver runs into a brick house and a great open field tackle by Chandler High. Jaden Arnold right there. And it's going to force the Aztecs to punt. And Ormita, he's been very busy doing double duties. Wide receiving and as well as special teams. And you got to wonder if the Aztecs might have some tricks in their book. And this is a bad snap. Chandler, big time pressure. Ball is loose. They pick it up inside the 10, down to the 5-yard line. And the Aztecs on the verge of being annihilated in this one. In on the recovery, Xavier Johnson. A big recovery on the bad snap, and things only getting worse for the Aztecs. There is a flag on the play as the referees will sort it out. And the call goes against the Wolves, but the Wolves will brush it off as they're going to have excellent field position at the Aztecs 20-yard line. 3:40 left, and they have such great field position. They could score here and then bring more pressure defensively and maybe get the ball back one more time. Helson in the backfield. 2 wide receivers down below, 1 up top. Dominic Carmigiano in at quarterback. Carmigiano on the year, the junior. More of a pocket passer compared to Will Menzel, who does a little bit of everything. And Dominic has been good in that pocket. 14 of 19, a $193, 2 touchdowns. He can sling it. Elsana. Man in motion's Laudermilk. Protecting that left side. They go back to the bell cow. Bell cow gets gobbled up. Short gain on the play. A slew of Aztecs hustling to the football. Gotta love the home team. They are playing hard. They are playing with a passion. Devin Scholl, the free safety, one of the leading tacklers on the team. And talk about Devin Scholl, 23 tackles. Young man can really bring it from the free safety position. Referees are talking this one through after a flag was down on the field, and it's going to go against Chandler. So if you look at this one from the outside the glass perspective, the only thing Chandler has really done wrong tonight is draw some critical penalties, but they bounce right back with positive plays. Brings up a 1st and 25 from the 35. Ochoa in the slot. Carmigiano dumps it off. Helsana breaks the tackle. Helsana down the sidelines. Helsana finally taken down inside the 10 to about the 6-yard line. Great pickup on the play. Helsana. A gain of 25 on the play. Brings up a 1st and goal from the 7. Lejander gets the call. Lejander breaking inside. He'll move the pile to about the 5-yard line. Winding down to under 3 minutes left in the half. Substitutions for the Aztecs. Coming in. Looking to make a stop. Aztecs needing senior linebacker Keen Abril to come up big. 19 tackles, 6 for losses, a team high, 2.5 sacks. Carmigiano, they go right back to Helsana. Helsana picks his way. A 4-yard touchdown. Helsana, the bell cow. 4 touchdowns on the night. He's already over 100 yards. And the Wolves howling in Aztecs country. Now up 34-6. We talked about this Chandler High team. They've gotten better every week. They were pressed by Cesar Chavez in the opener. They blew out Mountain Ridge. They handled Westwood, and here they are handling business on the road. Aguilar up and good. And by the way, if you wanted to draft Tristan Helsana in your high school fantasy football league, forget about it. I drafted him in the 1st round, and I'm leading big on Friday night. I also have Carter Ochoa as one of my leading receivers. So right there, you got that 1-2 punch. Oh, by the way, I got Menzel too, and Carmigiano. 35-6. Helsana on the short touchdown run. And yes, it is homecoming on the campus of Corona del Sol. Homecoming, the dance is tomorrow. All the young ladies will have their Saturday night specials on, and the young men will have their fine attire. And right now, they're seeing their special weekend ruined by the Wolves. And once again, that campus, 4.6 miles away, right off Arizona Avenue. Just take Ray Road to Arizona Avenue, head south, make a right at Oakland, and there you are. Christian Aguilar smacks this one down the field. Ruiz inside the 5. Ruiz finds a hole, and then he gets gobbled up. Good special teams, fast and furious play by Chandler High. They can bring it so many different angles. Nathaniel Nevarez in on the tackle. So the Aztecs, after a great drive, they have discombobulated. And now they go back to work, trailing by 29. And this is imperative for them to move the football. The last thing they want to do is give Chandler the football back with a minute. This offense is too good. They can score too fast. 1st and 10 from the 21. Farrell moving to his right. Farrell will just have to step out of bounds, and that's the last thing you really want the Aztecs to do. You don't want them to run out of bounds. If you're Corona del Sol, you want that clock to tick. You do not want to give Chandler any opportunities to get the ball back. It's a gain of 2 on the play, brings up a 2nd and 8. 2:17 left. Chandler 5 for 5. 5 possessions, 5 touchdowns. Helsana, 4 of those. Farrell shotgun. 4 wide receivers on the field. Good snap, dropping back. Steps up, he's gonna tuck and take off. Helsana and the offense watching from the sidelines, hoping the defense can come up with another stop, but Farrell very close to a first down. And they do give Farrell the first down, so that's gonna move the clock and that's gonna move the sticks. 1st and 10 from the 31. Will Menzel, Ochoa, Helsana watching anxiously from that sidelines to get another offensive opportunity in this first half. Big time blitz, and that one's almost picked off. Bounce right and in and out of the hands of the linebacker, Craig Noble. Scheibel gets taken down immediately. Brings up a 2nd and 12 from the 29. Coach Gerritsen and his team, they got some timeouts to play with. They've got 2 on the board. They could stop the clock and they might work it here, depending on this play. 2nd and 12 from the 29. Farrell, good snap, just throws it out in the flat to Shabley. Shabley, good open field tackle by Johnson. Malik Johnson showing his skills. And the Wolves do call a timeout with a $1:04 left in this first half. And we'll take a timeout. You're watching the Wolves and the Aztecs right here on the Chandler High Sports Network. Big 3rd and 7 from the 34 for the Aztecs. Coach Jake Barrow and company in dire need to move the sticks. Last thing they want to do is punt it to Skylar Armida and give the ball back to that red-hot Chandler offense. Farrell, good snap, big rush, and Farrell gets brought down. A slew of white jerseys in on the tackle. In on it, Jaime Kiris, the junior, leading the charge. Jaime Kiris, a junior, living large in the land of orange. And that's going to bring up a 4th down with 57 seconds left. And we saw Chandler last week, how good they were. And talking to Coach Gerritsen last night, they practiced the 2-minute drill all the time, and they practiced no huddle all the time. So if the Aztecs can't get a good punt off here, they're going to give Chandler some great field position with under a minute left. Ormida back at his 50. Line drive, Ormida trying to track it down, takes an Aztecs roll, and it's going to roll inside the 40 down to about the 39-yard line. So now it's Rick Gerritsen and Chad Carpenter. And Chad Carpenter, Coach Gerritsen and I, in our conversation last night, we talked about the play calling last week, and the Westwood front 7, so good. So many good players on that, and Corona had them, or I should say Chandler had them so off balance in the course of the game. So Wolves coming out, not messing around in a 5 wide receiver set. in shotgun. Carmigiano, big rush, and Carmigiano is dropped. Big time pressure by the Aztecs. And that's what they need. So it brings up a 2nd and 10 from the 42. Carmigiano, shotgun yet again. Good pocket, fires down the field, and hits Carter Ochoa for a good pickup. A 3rd and 4. And the Wolves showing their savviness with Ochoa on that sidelines, getting out of bounds. 39 seconds left. Carmigiano, good snap. Flicks it downfield, and it goes right back to 81, Jackson Coulter. And Jackson Coulter is going to be the next superstar receiver for this Chandler High team. 6 receptions for 61 yards last week in the victory over Westwood. 4 receptions for 34 yards. More on Coulter in a second. Carmigiano dropping back, lets it fly, throws a bullet over the middle, just out of the reach of Ormita. But getting back to Jackson Coulter, sophomore, 6'1", buck 73, soft hands and height. Brings up a 2nd and 10 from the 40. 30 seconds left. Chandler going for the kill. Trying to put the Aztecs out of the misery here in the closing seconds of the first half. Flick to the sidelines. And goes right back to Coulter, who gets a gain of 5 on the play. And look at the Wolves methodically just work that sidelines, just running out routes, and they know they have that play all day. 3rd and 4 from the 34. Carmigiano goes right back to the sidelines, and Coulter yet again. And that's going to move the sticks. That's going to be a first down inside the 30. 22 seconds left. Right now, Chad Carpenter playing a little PlayStation on the sidelines and dialing up all goodness. Seeing the Aztecs giving up that out route on that left side. Corner's 10 yards off the ball. That play is there all day. Ochoa in motion. Carmigiano flips it out. And Ormita on the screen couldn't bring it in. 20 seconds left. A 2nd and 10 from the 29. For Chandler High, 20 seconds on offense, an eternity. Carmigiano, 3 wide receivers down below. 2 up top. Time to throw. Steps in a pocket, and he gets dragged down. Good pressure by the Aztecs. Aztecs. And Chandler goes right back to work. And they snap it down to kill the clock. 4 seconds left. With a 4th and 10. Make that a 4th and forever from the 29-yard line. And this is just going to be a toss to the end zone. This will be something to watch. Carmigiano, time to throw. Throws it up. This is up in the air. Ochoa brings in. Ochoa inside the 5. Ochoa will score. Hail Mary at the end of the half. And the Wolves have done it at the buzzer and go into the locker room up tremendous on the toss from Carmigiano to Carter Ochoa, lighting up Aztecs Nation and stunning the fan base in the final frame of the first half. Mercy. My goodness. Chad Carpenter and Rick Garrison rolling the dice. Riverboat Gamblers and coming up big. Extra point is good. And the Wolves go in the locker room up 42-6 on the stunning bomb on the final play. Carmigiano, Hail Mary, Ochoa grabbed it inside the 10, works the body, bangs his way in, And it's a Wolves rout on homecoming on the campus of Corona del Sol, and Aztecs Nation absolutely stunned, absolutely speechless. Now coming up at the half, we'll hear from the Corona del Sol band as well as the Chandler High band. But first up, we go one-on-one with Wolves offensive coordinator Chad Carpenter, dialing up everything right in this first half. So, Coach Carpenter, you played football so many different levels. You know, back in your prep days, high school, of course, College of Washington State for the Arizona Cardinals. Now you're here coaching. When you think about your travels and your journeys now to becoming a coach, what really comes to mind?
You know, as a coach, it's a little harder sometimes to get ready for a game. As a player, you know, you run, you work out, you're dialed into the plays, and as a coach, a lot of times you're relying on other guys to execute the things that you want to do. My coach used to say it's harder being a coach, and I think there's a lot of validity to that because you're relying on 15, 16, 17-year-old kids to go out and execute, especially in high school. But I've just learned so much just, you know, from the game overall. I was talking to a player today about, you know, there's just so much more than football. You just learn how to be tough, go through adversity. This is life. You know, you're going to have good days, bad days, ups and downs. You just keep getting up, you keep going. So there's always a correlation. I think football is the best game to just teach young men how to, you know, be a good person in life and to get through tough times, man. And we all have them, and I think it just makes you a little bit more resilient.
Yeah, no question. You got to find ways to pick yourself up out of the abyss and keep fighting every single day. For you, Coach, at what point when you transition from player to coach, did you maybe take a different perspective and say, you know what? Wow, not as easy as I thought. Now I have to deal with the other side.
No doubt. Yeah, you know, probably I've been coaching high school football now for 20 years out here, man. It's been a while. I'm dating myself. But when I came to Chandler and I just realized the amount of effort that these high school guys put into preparation and being a high school student, we ask a lot of our guys, man. And, you know, I'm in the classroom now and I know what these guys do with, ask them to look at an hour of huddle film time a night. We meet before practice. We record every practice. We watch every play. We install. And then, oh, by the way, you got to go be a student. And we expect high expectations with grades. And Chandler's a really, really good academic school. So I'm just amazed at, like, these guys and the effort that they put in, you know, not only on the field. We're out here for 2 hours just on the field, and then, you know, we expect an hour, and then we meet for an hour, and then they go to the weight room for an hour. I mean, it's a lot. And I just have so much respect for these student athletes, man.
Coach, how do you go about telling these young men, because, look, Chandler, the expectations are there every year.
Yeah.
How do you go about when these new fresh faces come on this campus to give them the advice not to be overwhelmed?
Yeah.
And just to kind of go with the flow and ease in and let them know that it's going to be okay. Just follow the script and you'll be fine.
No doubt. We just talked about this yesterday in the offensive room. Sometimes you can be a little complacent, right? Complacency kills. You know, we've had a lot of success here over the years, but the flip side of that, we haven't won it in a couple years. And, you know, what the teams did in the past are a little bit irrelevant to this year's team. It doesn't mean that we don't have a lot of pride and a lot of, you know, expectations to win, because we always do. But, you know, we try to tell the young guys, which we have a great freshman staff. We have a great JV staff that really follows the varsity script, which helps us so much. They come up to us, they know the plays, they know the names. Now we just fine tune some things and we're rolling. So it is definitely a process coming to a big school like this, and, you know, coming from your, you know, Pop Warner or your, you know, youth football team to these expectations. But it is definitely a process. I mean, we tell them, you know, you guys trust your coaches. You don't have to call the plays. Just execute what you've been coached to do and have fun while you do it.
If we had to go back in time using the flux capacitor that Doc Brown and Marty McFly, go back in time, at what point does Chad Carpenter as a quarterback start for Chandler High? Does he break in as a freshman? Does he go in as a sophomore, or does he have to wait his turn, junior, maybe even a senior year?
You know what?
Come on, let's be honest, Coach.
I'll be honest. I would not have played as a freshman here for sure. I don't know too many guys that actually have. Kobe Taylor's about the last guy that comes to mind. Special player. I would have played as a sophomore. I think I could have broke the lineup. Probably would have played some receiver. That's what I played college and the NFL. But it's hard to play here, man. I mean, we've had some NFL guys that played JV as a sophomore. And we tell this to sophomores that might be playing JV right now, like, don't take it bad. Just go out, work on your craft. We've got some good guys ahead of you. So I probably would have played as a sophomore. I think I'd have a fair fighting chance, no doubt about it.
Yeah, and before I let you go, Coach, we talked about your carbon dating. Even though you might be a little bit of an elder statesman, I still think you have that young buck in shape look. I think you could pass for late 20s, early 30s.
Oh yeah, I wish. Trust me, I wish. Oh, that's funny.
Welcome back to halftime at Corona del Sol, where the Aztecs band is playing, and they are simply spectacular. Checking some scores around the Arizona 6A Conference. Castile ripping up Mountain Ridge right now, 38-0. Mesa over Dobson, 31-0. Queen Creek blanking Canyon View, 22-0. Cactus Shadows over Boulder Creek, 28-14. Central beating Mountain Point. That's a stunner right now, 27-0. Basha losing to Mission Viejo out of California, 17-14. And other scores right now as we try to pan up. Perry leading Brophy 13-10 at the half. And the struggles for Saguaro continue. They're losing to Chaminade 13-0. Williamsfield leading Desert Ridge. Westwood blanking Shadow Ridge 21-0. That's in the second quarter. Highland over Campo Verde 21-3. Mountain View leading Valley Vista 30-12, and Red Mountain right now 14-7 over Downey. And that is some scores around the 6A, and now dial in and savor the Aztecs band, and these kids are putting up a show on homecoming. Eddie Van Halen, eat your heart out. What a tremendous performance by the Aztecs band that is nationally ranked. They are simply amazing. And the Aztecs band with more to perform. They're just starting this halftime homecoming fiesta from Aztecs country. And we are closing in on the second half from Corona del Sol. The Wolves with a dominating 42-6 lead. And that halftime Hail Mary from Carmigiano to Carter Ochoa, 33 yards and then some. Taking another look, Ochoa banging inside the 5 and getting in. And we're going to dial it up for you one more time. And here it is. Carmigiano buying time. Little floater. Caught air. Ochoa inside the 10. Got knocked inside the 5. Almost pinballed his way into the end zone and did just that. So that caps off a 42-point first half for the Wolves. They scored on every offensive possession. Started with Menzel to Ormida on a 14-yard touchdown. Farrell on a touchdown pass, made it 7-6. Point after, no good. Helsana, a 1-yard touchdown. Then Helsana, a 13-yard touchdown. Helsana, a 1-yard touchdown. Along the way, there was a Farrell sack, a botch punt by Corona del Sol. Helsana, a 4-yard touchdown run, made 35-6. Jaime Keyres, a big sack. And then it was Carmigiano at the buzzer. And literally, that ball kind of fluttered, hit a little bit of a wind pocket, and Ochoa caught it, got hit, and that hit bounced him forward. Kept his balance and worked his way in, and halftime, it's 42-6. Checking the Highland score. Highland leading at Campo Verde, 21-3 at the half. And let's give a shout out to one of the former Chandler High Hall of Famers from the baseball team, part of an ASU National Baseball Championship team. Played second base, 1981. Bert Martinez. Big shout out to that young man. And hey, if you're dialing us up on the YouTube channel, we'll answer your questions. We've got the ability. And if I can't answer them, I've got Google on my phone. Short timeout, more to come. Buck 30, Wolves. Oh yeah, they look relentless and they look ferocious. So right now it's Friday night homecoming. We have a battle of Jedi Knights going in the far end zone. It's the fabulous Luke Skywalkers versus the wild Obi-Wan Kenobis. All part of a festive homecoming here at Corona del Sol. Of course, homecoming is tomorrow. The dance is tomorrow night. Good shout out to all the kids on campus that are going to the homecoming dance. And meanwhile, Chandler High is making this game their own homecoming. 42 first half points. The stunner at the buzzer. We're going to call that one the prayer on Rural Road. That will live in infamy. Carmigiano, 33 yards to Carter Ochoa at the buzzer. The prayer on Rule Road. There it is. And as if Corona needs more salt on the wound, Chandler gets the opening kickoff here in the second frame. And they boot this one deep. Ormita takes it inside his 5. Ormita out past the 20, picking his way, and finally gets taken down at the 26-yard line. And that is where this high-powered Wolves offense comes in. And the clock is running because of the score. So the Wolves have been rotating 2 quarterbacks, and they both have been spectacular. Carmigiano with the buzzer beater, the Hail Mary on Rule Road, and then Menzel threw a touchdown on the opening drive to Ormita. Second half underway. Back in the backfield, 3 wide receivers. Menzel as Jackson Coulter rushes on the field. Inside handoff, busting it out past the 30. Good pickup on first down for Legender. And Chandler right now is going to work a bunch of different receivers in, a bunch of different personnel in, with the opportunity to work the clock and give a lot of valuable playing experience to a lot of worthy young men who work their tails off in practice. They go right back to the ground, and that's going to be close to a first down. Chandler just methodically working the ball up the field. They do move the chains on the Legender run. First and 10 from the 37. Menzel with Legender in the backfield. 3 wide receivers. And the Wolves are more than content of just pounding on the ground. Legender out past the 45. Pickup of 7 on the play. And right now, Chandler High just playing old-fashioned line them up. They're playing bully ball. And that's what Coach Garrison talked about in this offensive line. This veteran group, they're just maulers. He said they are becoming maulers, and they just enjoy just going out there and just beating up opposing defenders on those D-lines. Chandler inside handoff, and that's going to move the sticks yet again. Legender with a tough physical run. And when we talk about this offensive line, 3 juniors, Blake Spear, Logan Ray. Of course, you've got Isaiah Garcia, Noah Swope. Swope also part of that great offensive line unit. Young man, also a junior. Swope, Ray, and Spear. So if you're Coach Garrison and you're Chandler High Nation, you got those 3 big boys anchoring an O-line with all this skill coming back. 2nd and 9 from the 50. Menzel just playing old-fashioned hand the ball off. They do it again, busting it up the middle. Short pickup on the play. It's going to bring up a 3rd and long. Pickup of 3 on the play. Legender. Now it's going to bring up a 3rd and 6 from the 47. 4 wide receivers in, 1 back set. Menzel has looked sharp. Good snap. Good pocket presence, fires, and that is just a drop ball over the middle. And that's about the only thing Chandler has done wrong offensively. Nolan Fisher, the junior. It's going to bring up a 4th down, and Chandler, my goodness, at this point, you got to wonder if they even had a punter on the team. First punt of the game.
4th and 6 from the
And that's going to be Carter Ochoa. So good as a receiver. Does the job as a punter as well. Ruiz back to receive. He's been oh so quiet, but the Aztecs offensively have been oh so quiet collectively. Ochoa just working on his special teams game as well. And there's a flag down that's going to blow the whistle dead. And can't say enough about the band at the half. Led by the band director, who is phenomenal. This Corona del Sol band, nationally ranked, did such a tremendous job. So now it's going to bring up a 4th and short, and Coach Garrettson and his offensive unit, they're like, you know what, we're going to handle this. We're going to handle our business. We've scored in every possession. The big boys are coming out. Lejander's in the backfield. 3 wide receivers up top, and Coulter at the bottom of your screen. They're going to operate out of the shotgun. 4th and short for the Wolves. 5 and change left in the third. They go straight up the gut to Lejander, and Lejander, hard physical run, and he's got the first down. So Coach Garrettson and that sideline making that short trek from Arizona Avenue. No, they did not have to rent a Greyhound to get here. They did not have to take a plane flight. It was a short, call it maybe a 10-minute drive, coming up Arizona Avenue to Ray Road and work their way to Rule. 1st and 10 from the 40. Hand off Lejander inside. Lejander still on his feet, finally gets slammed down. Corona del Sol showing some veracity defensively. They've been beaten, they've been knocked around, but showing some toughness, showing no quit. Keen Abreu called his name early and came up with a big tackle. 2nd and 8 from the 38. Menzel go right back to the run. And the Aztecs meeting the challenge. Gobbled up at the point of attack. Kyrie Johnson. And Kyrie is one of those players, you get him in space, he's electric. He's the kind of player you'd love to see in the slot, just catch passes and work the ball up the field or run on the outside. It's going to bring up a 3rd and 8 from the 38. 4 and change left in third. Menzel, time to throw. Menzel rolling out. One player to beat. Menzel up the sidelines. He's got the first down. Menzel inside the 15, and Corona fans are like wondering what happened on that play. He was bottled up and somehow zigged and zagged, and all of a sudden the chains are moving again. And Aztecs Nation, they're like wondering what just happened. Someone explain this. Where is the decency in the football universe to allow that to happen to our team? Needs to say, it's a 1st and 10 from the 14. And I have some great Corona fans right next to me. And just by the way, my daughter goes to Corona, so I'm feeling all the Aztec pain right now in a special place in my heart. But right now, Chandler just, they've got special players, and Will Menzel. We talk about how good of an athlete Will Menzel is. And Coach Garrettson, in our conversation last night, I said, Coach, look, with Menzel and the personnel you have coming in, and they have Jai Jones, who transferred from Corona, and his 5-game transfer hiatus is about to come up. This receiving core and this offensive unit is going to be so good that you at times will see them run a no huddle. And with their personnel, I mean, Ochoa right now is as good as any wide receiver in the state. Great hands, great routes. Helsana, the O-line. And then you had Jai Jones, and there's another running back in their stable that can alleviate the stress on Helsana. 3rd and 13 from the 18. Menzel dropping back. Time to throw. Fires downfield. He's got a receiver wide open, and that's an easy pitch and catch to Carter Ochoa. He ended the first half on a 33-yard reception. He starts the second frame on an 18-yard touchdown to Carter Ochoa. Make that Jackson Coulter on the reception. Jackson Coulter, 18-yard touchdown from Will Menzel. And it's 48-6. Jackson Coulter, talk a lot about that young man. Love his skill set, 6'1", good hands. He's going to be the next future star receiver on this campus. And we kind of talk about the future of this program. John Jones is a sophomore. Jackson Coulter is a sophomore. And they are going to be terrorizing teams for the next 2 years. Menzel is a sophomore. Skylar Ormita is a junior. And the running back core they have coming in, awesome. Freshman team, absolutely destroying people, trucking people. So if you're wondering what the future is like for the outlook for this team off Arizona Avenue,
There is no flash photography.
it is so good. It is so bright. And by the way, even though it's homecoming and you like to take pictures of your, maybe the band or maybe your daughter who's a cheerleader, no flash photography whatsoever. So folks, turn off your digital flashes on your camera. You know you have the capabilities. You know you know how to do it. And just take those pictures accordingly. 49-6. And we have a running clock, and that is a good thing. Chandler will try to get out of this one before 9 o'clock and get back to Arizona Avenue before 9:30. And I have to ask Coach Garrettson, for the next broadcast that Paulo Hutchison and I do, we're going to have to find out what the victory dinner is for this team. This one knocked down the field. Ruiz inside the 10, out past the 15 to the 20. Ruiz cuts it. Ruiz finally gets knocked from behind. Good coverage in on special teams. Hamisi Juma. And Hamisi is a young man we don't talk about often. A junior, 6'3", all kinds of skill in that secondary. His brother was a star with the football team, and Hamisi can flat out bring it. 12 tackles, he's caused a fumble. Quietly going about his year, a junior. And that is going to stop the clock, and you got to figure if we're going to stop the clock, you wouldn't stop it with 3 seconds left in the third quarter. Why not just stop it at the end? 49-6. And I want to apologize to all the Jackson Coulter fans out there. I wanted to give Carter Ochoa the touchdown reception, but that was Jackson making it look easy, wide open. And Menzel couldn't ask for an easier touchdown toss. Jackson Coulter caught that, unlike Saquon Barkley the other night in the Eagles game, on a critical third down. Easy toss from Jalen Hurts. Catch the ball, ice the game. But in fairness, if the Eagles just run the football, they kill the clock as well. So Philadelphia making life harder for themselves on a critical executional error on Monday Night Football. So that's going to end the third quarter. 49-6. We'll take a short timeout. You're watching the Wolves and the Aztecs on the Chandler High Sports Network. update from Campo Verde, Highland. Rolling Campo Verde right now 28-3. Of course, Chandler travels to Highland next week. A rematch of last year's first round of the Open Playoffs, in which Chandler lost at home 19-14. So trust me, Chandler High has had that one marked on their schedule from day one. Very rare that the Wolves lose a playoff game. Very rare they lose in the first round. Very rare they lose a first round playoff game at home. And they had to hear about it all off season. Now, a lot of people, a lot of teams out there would be so happy to get to the Open Division and look back at the year and call it a success. For Chandler High, they're beyond that. The expectations are so high. Every year, they expect to be in contention for the gold ball. In my conversation with Coach Gerritsen, I asked him about this team. Is there something, maybe something different about this team this year, attitude-wise? And he said a lot of these seniors back in the day, when they were part of that freshman class, they came up through the system and they were trucking people. And those teams were so good. And then over the course of time, playoffs didn't go their way. They lost players by attrition, maybe just didn't fit the mode of what it takes to battle here at Chandler High, and could never get it done. So for a lot of seniors on this roster, seniors like Scooby Bradley and Carter Ochoa and Aiden Browder, Xavier Sr., Jalen Robertson. This is their last go-around. This is all about their last shot to have their names cemented in the legacy of Chandler High football. And that means their one last shot to potentially win a gold ball. And that's going to be a personal foul against Chandler High. A targeting call, no question, will go against Chandler High as Luke Farrell on the RPO. And you got to wonder at 49-6 why you're running an RPO with your star quarterback at this point. So they wave the call off. So they call it a 2nd and 10 from the 26. We didn't get a good look. That was on the other side of the field. And now a snap that the young man under center can't handle. And that's Trey Walker, the junior. Walker now in for Luke Farrell. So it brings up a 3rd and forever for Corona. The Aztecs on homecoming night. A squad that really has had a tough going of it, a tough sledding per se as of late. Losing season last year. A good reception down the field, going upfield, and pushed out of bounds, and that should be a flag as well. A big pitch and catch. Big toss, big connection to Jude Stevens, the junior wide receiver. On the big toss down the field. And that's going to be a personal foul against the Wolves. And that is a play right there that Coach Gerritsen and his staff will talk about. They've played a pretty good, clean game, and that's the last thing you want to see. And he was pushed easily 3-4 yards out of bounds. Good call by the referees. Trey Walker in at quarterback, making that throw to Stevens. First and goal from the 7. Aztecs trying to look for a silver lining as they'll drop this one on homecoming. One back set. 2 wide receivers up top. Man in motion. And it's going to be a false start against the Aztecs. And it's been that kind of night. You take a positive step forward, and then you have to take a negative step back. Kind of a windy, breezy night here in the upper areas of the Aztec stands, and that's where we're located. We're located way up top. Another bad snap, and the Wolves are coming with a purpose. And if you think Chandler is going to just give up a touchdown here, no. These are young men that are in now that are battling for playing time and battling for an opportunity to show what they can do. Of course, Chandler built a robust lead, and Aztecs struggling this year, and a big hit in the pocket. Bringing the lumber and then some. Jalen Robertson, senior defensive end. Aztecs struggling, 0-3, going to drop to 0-4. They were 3-8 last year. 2022, they went 8-3, losing to Mesa in the playoffs. Of course, last year and the year before, led by outstanding quarterback Connor Jackson, who is now playing at Arizona Western, and we wish Connor the best of luck. Of course, his sister, Caitlin, plays on the Corona softball team, star pitcher. And that is a discombobulation times 12. And the Aztecs just falling apart, not being able to snap the ball. So it brings up a 4th and forever. And the Aztecs are still trying to figure this one out. They're going to go for the field goal. And why not? Looking to get a good snap and try to put 3 points on the board. Number 82. Tarek Zambogovic, and that one is knocked down, and Chandler has recovered. They're picking up. They've got a wall, cutting back inside, and finally brought down. Good play, aggressive play by Demir Riggin, the junior, who's also another talented player. Demir, every time he's been on the game, he's been outstanding. So Chandler takes over. 3:30 and counting. Chandler had a running clock last week against Westwood. They're doing it again. They will be out of this one just after 9 o'clock. So for all those fans that made that long trek from Arizona Avenue, that ride home is going to be a long one. And it looks like it's going to be a call against the Wolves. It's going to back them up 5 yards as we wind down to 3 minutes left. Next week, Wolves in a big one, taking on Highland. Highland winning at Campo Verde 28-3 in the 3rd. Handoff outside. Big physical run. Bringing the lumber and then some. Legenda running hard. What a night for Tristan Halsana. Over 100 yards in essentially the first quarter. 4 rushing touchdowns. Young man now has 11 rushing touchdowns. Call it 600 yards in 4 games. Just outstanding. Just a beast. And a flag is down. They'll call that against Chandler. False start against the Wolves. Had to back them up, but the clock continues to tick. And for Rick Garrettson and his team, another tremendous effort. Can't say enough. This team started out of the gates a little shaky. Improved tremendously in week 2 against Mountain Ridge. Took it to another level against Westwood, and now just continuing to click on all cylinders. Closing in on their 4th victory of the year. The helmet is off as Lejander gets pushed out.
27 on the carry.
The team getting great efforts tonight. The offensive line. Can't say enough about the big boys in the trenches. Got to name them because they do all the hard work. They do the heavy lifting. Logan Ray, left tackle. Left guard, Noah Swoop.
1 minute left to play.
Right tackle, Blake Spear, your 3 super juniors. Your center, Isaiah Garcia. Your right guard, Quentin Real. Your 2 lone seniors on the line. Helsana, amazing. Carter Ochoa, amazing. Ormita, amazing. Jackson Coulter coming in relief, showing what he can do. Dominic Carmigiano running that 2-minute offense at the end of the first half and throwing that touchdown pass to Ochoa, 33 yards at the buzzer. The Hail Mary on Rule. It will live in infamy. And the final seconds are ticking off. And Rick Garrettson and the Chandler Wolves do it impressively for their 4th victory with a 49-6 victory over Corona del Sol. It started fast with a Menzel to Ormita 14-yard touchdown. Aztecs answered on a Farrell touchdown. Helsana, a big 63-yard run, then a 1-yard touchdown. Came right back with a 13-yard touchdown. The defense forced a fumble by Luke Farrell. Sean Perez on the fumble recovery. Led to a Helsana touchdown. Defense stepped up again, led to a bad snap on the punt. Chandler recovered. Helsana, another touchdown. Jaime Kiris, big night with the sack. And then at the buzzer to end the second quarter, at the buzzer, Carmigiano, a Hail Mary, ball hit a wind pocket. Ochoa caught it, got hit from behind, bounced him forward, kept his balance, rolled it in the end zone. That made it 42-6. And then it was Menzel to Jackson Coulter on an 18-yard touchdown, 49-6. Chandler so impressive in this one. 3 straight great performances from a team that's peaking. Moving forward, can they sustain this effort? This is where the point of the season, things get more difficult. Next week, they've got Highland. Then it's Liberty at home. And those are going to be measuring stick games for Chandler. A team that has so much to prove. Looking for payback after losing to Highland in the first round of the Open playoffs last year at home, 19-14. And of course, that next home game, October 4th, a huge matchup against defending Open champion Liberty. Of course, the telecast will be broadcasted by other Valley companies, and our next televised cast, we could be at Castile. We'll see how that one goes. We'll see if we can make that happen. If not, it'll be October 25th at home against Basha. For Rick Garrettson and the great Chandler High football team, to the great alumni of this fantastic program, all the great fans out there that root this team on, all the great parents, all the great members of the band, Jeff Cuomo and his great band that do wonders, the cheerleaders, all the great students at Chandler High and Arizona Avenue and everywhere, anyone who's ever worn the Chandler High colors. You're all part of this. For Jim Culver, the athletic director, to Paulo Hutchison on the live stream. Can't do without Paulo. Simply fantastic. The final, the Wolves improved to 49, I should say, they improved to 4-0 with the 49-6 victory over Corona del Sol. I'm Joe Pequeno. Thank you so much for watching. This has been a presentation of Chandler High Athletics.